Today I brought these character sketches, 7 character sketches from these 3 chapters of Term 2, the Browning version, Birth and Mother's Day. Let's move on to the first character sketch from the Browning version, Crocker Harris. This is a brief character sketch written by one of my students, Shranim Malhotra. Crocker Harris is the protagonist in the play Browning version, whom we know not from his direct actions and deeds but through other characters in the play. His non-presence in the play does not hamper the development of his character in any way. Rather, he is the center of attraction as well as conversation throughout the play. He is a strict disciplinarian but not a sadist. Unlike his other colleagues, he obeys the code of conduct and waits for the direction of the headmaster to announce the result. He doesn't like to give or take undue favors from his pupils. He is a Latin teacher and seldom throws a joke in the class. On the whole, Crocker Harris' humility and honesty makes him a likable character who is envied by his colleagues. Now, this is an apt character sketch for 2 marks question, brief and to the point. It covers all the points and very apt for a 2 marks question. Now, the detailed version of the same character sketch. The answer of Mr. Crocker Harris to Taplow's query, I have given you exactly what you deserve. No less and certainly no more, sums up his personality. He is a middle-aged idealist who teaches Latin in a school. He believes in performance and always goes by the book. He wants his students to be disciplined and maintains a respectable distance from them. Because of his stern looks, students call him shriveled up, showing no emotions and feelings. Taplow believes him to be hardly human, but blatantly denies that he is a sadist. He is a strict disciplinarian, and no student dares to disobey him. He doesn't compromise on the rules and regulations of the school, thus never discloses the result to the students beforehand as other masters do. Though he is a hard task master, the students admire him for his ethics. Taplow is scared to death at the suggestion of Frank to cut. Crocker Harris is not popular among his colleagues or students, but Frank is envious of his effect on students. Taplow admits to Frank that he likes Crocker Harris, and once, when Crocker Harris cracked a joke in the class, he was the only one to laugh out of respect. Taplow feels that Crocker Harris doesn't like to be liked. That is why he behaves like this. We can say Crocker Harris is a committed and principled teacher who doesn't compromise with his ideals. So this is a detailed character sketch. The previous one, it was a brief one. So you can take points from both and make your own character sketch. Now we move on to the next one. Frank. Frank in the play The Browning version represents the class of teachers who are easygoing and find nothing wrong in flouting the rules of the school. He is young and teaches science, but he himself doesn't like what he teaches. As his name suggests, he is quite frank with his students. He is interested in gossip and therefore asks Taplow about the names of the teachers who, according to him, are sadists. He even derives pleasure at the way Taplow imitates Crocker Harris and asks him to repeat. He is jealous of the fact that no student dares to disobey Crocker Harris. Being shallow in principles, he encourages Taplow to disobey Crocker Harris. As a teacher, he is a failure and not fit to be a role model for his students. So this is the character sketch of Frank. Now Taplow. So review Taplow as a student. Taplow is a young teenager of 16. He studies in the lower fifth. He is sincere and obedient. Therefore, he is present in the school even on the last day of the term for extra work. He has been called by his teacher, Crocker Harris, because he had missed one class in the previous week. He is waiting for his result and is eager to take science. He finds science more interesting and thrilling than literature. Though simple and straightforward, he is a little bitter on the last day of the school as he could have been playing golf instead of being at school. So at a little provocation from Frank, he speaks up his mind and makes fun of Crocker Harris, his Latin teacher. He thinks Crocker Harris is hardly human and shriveled up. Even though he criticizes Crocker Harris, he admits that he likes him. Out of respect, he even laughs at the joke cracked by Crocker Harris in the class when no other student laughs. But like any other student, he dares not leave the school even though Crocker Harris is late. Now we come to the chapter birth, character sketch of Andrew Manson, the doctor. Dr. Andrew Manson is found to be torn between personal and professional life. He is newly out of medical school and has started his practice as an assistant to Dr. Edward Page in a small Welsh mining town of Blenheim. He is dedicated, dutiful, sincere, and true to his professional calling. But we learn that his personal life has been keeping him quite anxious. He has spent a disappointing evening with his girlfriend when he is approached by Joe Morgan, who is nervous because his wife seems to have gone into labor before time. They're expecting a baby after 20 years of marriage. Understanding the urgency of the case, he readily goes with Joe and stands by the family in their difficult time. Despite not being in the best of his moods, he realizes the sentiments of the family for the baby and performs the delivery with his expertise. It is his not giving up attitude that encourages him to fight the odds and save both the mother and the child who was stillborn. Although non experienced, he is intelligent enough to judge the line of treatment he should adopt for the case in hand. He doesn't hesitate to take an unusual course to save the baby. He is compassionate and sensitive and is much overwhelmed to see the happy faces of the family in the end. He doesn't deserve the distress he faces because of his personal life. So, this is about Dr. Andrew Mention. Now we move on to the next play, that is Mother's Day. So, first character sketch of Mrs. Pearson. Mrs. Pearson is a caring and devoted housewife. As a wife and mother, her sole aim is to keep her family happy. For this, she readily takes orders from her husband and even children. Her submissiveness has spoiled her children, and even her husband doesn't take care of her feelings. She desires to take out some time for herself, enjoy a family game of rummy, or take a day off, but she is not able to materialize it for lack of will and courage to talk about her feelings and needs with her family. Her family is thankless and ungrateful to her for the work she puts in to make their life easy. They only think about themselves and plan their evenings and weekends, leaving her alone at home. She knows Mrs. Fitzgerald is right when she says that she herself is responsible for her pitiable condition. Because she has never raised her voice against her family, they neglect her and overlook her. If Mrs. Fitzgerald had not forced her to exchange their personalities, she would have been living like a sacrificial goat forever. In the end, she does receive the respect, love, and care of her family, which she is worthy of. Now, the next character sketch, George Pearson. George is in his 50s. He is a decent man, solemn, self important, and pompous. He only cares about himself and wants to enjoy his life. We can also write here that he is husband of Mrs. Pearson. So he often goes to the club and spends his time there instead of spending his time with his family. He wants all his needs to be looked after by his wife, but fails to understand her needs. He never appreciates his wife for the effort she puts in to look after the family. Rather, he is annoyed at her for not keeping the tea ready, which he doesn't even want. He is not an ideal father as he is unable to guide his children to walk on the right track and behave properly with their mother. He himself is a bad example for his children. The next one, Mrs. Fitzgerald. Mrs. Fitzgerald is a bold, strong, and empowered woman who is a skilled fortune teller. She has learned this art along with her husband for 12 years in the East. Sinister by nature, she knows what she wants from life and lives life on her own terms. She is in her 40s and a little on the heavier side. She is an independent woman who smokes and likes to play cards. She has a deep voice with an Irish accent. She is a neighbor of Mrs. Pearson and has good intentions for her. Like a concerned friend, she knows that Mrs. Pearson is leading a miserable life. She wants to take a firm step. Though dominating and outspoken, she has a good heart that worries for Mrs. Pearson. She not only advises her, but finding Mrs. Pearson not bold enough to keep her foot down in front of her family, she, like a true well wisher, steps in to help her. Her way of dealing with the situation, though is unusual, hits the right chord in the end. So, this is the character sketch of Mrs. Fitzgerald. All the important characters I have discussed so that these can help you in your exam. So, do subscribe to the channel so that I can keep on uploading important things before your finals. Happy preparation and thank you, all of you.